think I understand what's going on with a bunch of our politicians and their Christian values. It's something I said the other day that struck me earlier during a discussion about Christian values. And I had to point out that Satanists are just a sect of Catholicism. Satan is a Christian deity. It's a member of his faith. When people start talking about Satanists and how they oppose Christianity, well, that's the exact thing. It's a part of their mythology. So a Satanist can get away with calling themselves a member of the Catholic Church because their mythology is part of the same mythology. I think that's what happened. That's why we have so many visibly evil fucking people in our government right now. Is because they told everybody that they are trying to uphold good Christian values. And they are trying to uphold Christian values. But it appears that the values that they're upholding are of the Christian sect that follows the Christian mythology entity, Satan. So that's what's going on, is we do have a shitload of people who follow the Christian mythology. It's just that it's clearly obvious that the side of the mythology that they're following, now that I think about it, is Satanism. It's Christianity. It is Catholicism. It's a part of the Catholic mythology. And that's the reason why I never could really get into Satanism as a faith, as an ethos, is because it is effectively bad Catholicism. Shit, if I want bad Catholicism, I don't have to look for a book and get some dogma for it. I can just look at my family. They're all bad Catholics. They don't have to profess to be Satanist for it. But I suppose it's best, if you're going to be a politician, to be good at deception. Which would make sense, again, why they are following Satan, the Lord of Deception, right? Politicians, that's what they do. They deceive, they keep the secrets for what's going on in the government. You know, that's where all the conspiracy theories come from. Because, to be honest, you, the people, we, the people, do you really want to know the shit your government's doing in your name? No, when it gets down to it, you really don't. And so I've come to the realization that that's what's going on, is that the best people to be in charge of a bunch of secrecy and twisted law are a bunch of satanic lawyers. So that's what happened. They're not Catholics in the sense that they're Lutherans or Protestants or any of that, except where claiming to be one benefits them. That's the way of Satan, right? To be deceptive, to tell you what you want to hear. Well, that's the classic Christian Catholicism version of Satan. The character that they are using is actually based on a much, much older entity. Depending on where you go, Shaitan, Lucifer, there's a bunch of different names for Satan originally. Heck, Lucifer is part of the original storyline, apparently. That whole, war in heaven, third of the host separating from the presence of God, which is Lucifer, the morning star, became the deceiver, the adversary, which is basically all Lucifer, or all Satan really means, is adversary. And this is all the Jewish mythology to start with. Catholicism and Christianity and all their sects are just splinter faiths of a splinter faith of a larger splintered faith. Because the Jewish faith, the Abrahamic faiths, all stem from that one position, Abraham. That's where the Jewish faith comes from. That's where the Christian faith comes from. It's where the interpretations later come from Muhammad. They all stem from Abraham. That's why I don't put any faith in any of those. They're all the same basic story with different flavors. But I think that's what happened is we do have a bunch of people who support the Christian and Catholic mythology. But the side of the mythology they're supporting isn't the one you've been thinking. And it doesn't mean they've been lying to you. They've been telling you the truth right to your face. Telling you the truth that you want to hear. The truth that, from their perspective. They are, truthfully, honestly, serving a form of the Catholic Church. Because Satan is a member of the Catholic faith. Christian faith, whatever you want to call it. Take your pick. Satan is part of the mythology of the Jewish faith. Maybe just the Christian faith later. I have to go back and double check to make sure. But I don't recall very often having a name. Usually it's just a description. But you see, that's the thing is, a lot of people think perhaps putting the devil in charge would be the smartest way, because of course why vote for the lesser of two evils when the greatest evil is standing right there? Evil men are running huge parts of our nation. And I don't just mean evil by my definition, which is decidedly skewed. But I mean evil in the definition of their own professed mythology, which is that they are actively causing harm to those who have no real defense. This situation at the borders, look, man, there are other ways to handle this shit. Less harmful ways. That would be the Christian thing to do. But you might notice that a lot of our politicians don't really seem to give a shit about the Christian thing to do. All of them seem to be very, very spot on about doing the satanic thing. The worship of Mammon is closely followed there. Because, I mean, all of our politicians are motivated by greed. That was the whole point of the worship of Mammon to start with. All of our politicians are definitely religious, definitely faithful. It's just I don't think they've got faith in the same God that you want them to have. I don't think they have the faith that you thought they did. I think it's glaringly obvious when you look at it that the Christian deity they're following is the adversary. It still means they're Christians. It does. It still means that they are Catholics. Because what mythology is Satan a member of? The Catholic. So there you are. They are Catholics in our hierarchy. But they're satanic Catholics. They've been lying to you, of course. Anyway, I gotta finish these dishes. Have a good night.